When you're converting something from polar form, as this one's in, into rectangular form, as we want it to be, that's with x's and y's, it can be a little challenging sometimes, especially if there's lots of terms. See, this one is not just a simple equation. That has some terms in it that are going to make it a little more complicated. And what I usually say is we want to try to get one of these, or several, we want to get some of these formulas over here on the left. We want to have those appear, because when those appear, I can turn things like r sine or r cosine into those y's and x's. And the strategies that we're going to use for this is one of these things on the bottom left. We're going to multiply both sides by r. We're going to square both sides. Sometimes we take the tangent to both sides. That's not very common. Could be useful sometimes. So what I'm going to do in this case, and you could solve it by squaring both sides, and if you're curious, I'd encourage you to try that on your own, but I'm going to multiply both sides by r because I see that I can get an r sine on the right. So look what happens if I multiply both sides by r. I get r squared on the left, I like that, and I get r sine on the right, and I like that. That's two great things right here. So let's move the r sine over to the left. So we have r squared plus r sine theta, and that equals 3r. Well, two of the three things here are good because I can turn r squared into x squared plus y squared. And I guess I really don't need a parentheses around that. So x squared plus y squared. And I can turn the r sine into y. And that's all equal to 3r. Great. Now what? Because 3r isn't anything special according to my formulas over on the left. What it means is I got most of the way through this, and I'm going to have to do something else. I'm going to have to do something else to get one of those formulas. Now, if I try the same trick again and multiply both sides by r, the right side's feeling great now. It's 3r squared. I can convert that into rectangular. But the problem is if you just stick another r on the left side, right? If I just put an r over here, now that's a little bit of an issue because r by itself is nothing really special. So I don't think that's going to work well for us. Instead, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to square both sides. So I'm going to just square the left and I'm going to square the right. And let's see what that does for us. Sometimes it's a little bit of guesswork. I am not going to FOIL out all this stuff here. Okay, I really don't feel like foiling that out. But the one on the right is pretty simple, so I'll say that's 9r squared. And we see there's an r squared over here. That's really great. So I can turn that r squared on the right into something that I'm a little more comfortable with. So I'm going to leave this thing on the left unfoiled, right? We're just going to leave that there. This problem didn't say anything about simplifying. And this thing on the right is just going to be 9 times x squared plus y squared. And that's it. That's my answer. Because if you think about what was asked, it said get it into rectangular coordinates. It did not say simplify it. Didn't say get y by itself on one side. I didn't have to solve. That would be really challenging. This is my answer. This is everything in terms of x's and y's.